What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Raven Invest. So, I just got finished making my latest episode of Comp Kings with Andy. So, I figured while I got everything set up, let's do a COMC walkthrough from start to finish. So, Rolex and race cars, this is for you. Stay tuned. Okay, so we got COMC loaded up here and we're going to get started. Now, I'm going to try and do this all one kind of take right through. I'm definitely not, I need a lot of work on my camera because I take a lot of takes to do a lot of my videos. So I do need a lot of work on that kind of stuff. And I guess the more videos I do, the better I'll get at it kind of thing. So just bear with me. I'm going to try and go through this all in kind of one shot here just to, before we get started though, um, as I always do, I got the Discord group open, and I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of look at what kind of is going on in there, a little bit. So here is the free channel, okay, and basically this is if you don't want to sign up for the Patreon, which is totally fine. It's just a great channel that you can hang out. There's, we got about 35 people in here, just all people who love the hobby and want to chat cards and show pictures of cards and all different stuff. So this is our the public channel that anybody can hop on. And then as I said, I included in all the descriptions in my video. And then of course we got all the channels that give you access through the Patreon. And we've got the CardQuest hotline. Basically, if you got a question that needs answered, kind of put it in here. This is for all our collections. When you pick up a PC card, you want to show it off or something, you want to talk about it, whatever the case may be. That's for that channel. We got the card market. If you want to sell some cards, this would be a place to sell some cards. You can cut some good deals. Save some people some eBay fees if you want, and get a cards a little bit cheaper. We got a Star Stock channel where we just go through different stuff on Star Stock, questions, concerns, purchases, sales, whatever. Same with COMC. We got a COMC channel. I go over a bunch of my stuff here, show a bunch of my different strategies, what I'm buying, what I'm selling, things like that. We got the eBay Card Sniper channel, which basically most people in here will paste stuff that they've won, or like copy stuff that they won, or stuff that they think is good that they're not going to buy that they think that someone in the channel might like, kind of thing. So we always got, if you're worried about missing auctions and things like that, there's always tons of auctions posted in there of guys that we're all talking about on the fantasy football card quest, guys that we're all targeting, things like that. So it's a good resource to have if you want to, just more eyes on eBay for you, kind of thing. Here we have the fantasy football channel. This is dedicated to like fantasy football strategy talk. Not really a lot of cards, kind of thing, but it all merges into one. But I was posting inactives during the week here, during the season here, things like that. Guys that are, injury updates, all that kind of stuff there. We have a Cardquestshark feedback channel where we can post things about the Cardquestshark progress, any questions, things like that. I can also see Andy's posted a couple of the Comp Kings episodes in here as well. We've got a mail channel where you can basically go through and just show off stuff that you got in the mail, things like that. We've got an NFT channel, NFL NFT channel. I'm not really big in the NFTs myself, maybe sometime in the future, but not really. But there's a channel there if you guys want to get in and talk about NFTs. We also have a channel that if you want to do a Raz on a card, just pop it in there. How many tell how many people, how much you want for a spot, how many spots, stuff like that. Post the pictures of the cards. And if people want to get in, they'll get in. If they don't, there's no pressure on that one. And I think that one is a, no, it's a private one. Sorry. I wasn't sure if that was a public channel or not, but it's a Patreon um, locked channel. And then finally, we got the Hyped Index channel, which is something that Andy's been working on there to help on a week-to-week basis with flipping, picking up, basically developing an index to show what players are going to potentially see more hype just because of the situation, who they're playing, what they did last week, what their expectations, a whole bunch of factors go in. It kind of goes over it in the channel, but that would be something that you, again, would need to be in the Patreon to access. Okay, so let's get on to why we're here. COMC. So, first off, usually my process is to come on and to look at a set. I'll look at sets as a whole, okay? And the reason being is because I find the opportunities stand out a lot more, and it's probably going to make a little bit more sense when I get in it. So, two ways that we can get here. If you've purchased cards from that set previously, we can get access to that set by just checking on the set name, and then we just have to play with a few of the filters here. If you don't have a card that you've purchased from that set, the way that I would access it, I rarely ever use this search unless I'm looking for a particular player. And it's probably better to go through the card if I've purchased it or sold it recently to that player. It's a little bit quicker, but I only ever put the player's name in there. So anyways, we'll start and we'll select football cards, obviously, because that's what we do here. And I always go to the rookie card. A lot of people will go to the rookie related. Most of the cards that I'm targeting are in the rookie card anyway. You will get some nice inserts that are into that rookie year, rookie related kind of category. But for today, we'll just concentrate on the rookie card just to kind of give a clear picture. And then I'll always, most of the time, I'm not opposed to buying graded cards. I just usually graded cards are more expensive, so more expensive means out of my budget. So I'll come in and select the raw cards just to give me the cleanest look possible, and then I'll take out all the auctions. So then, so we'll go look at the new Donruss, see what they got. That's probably, that's the Mosaics out there, but I don't think it's on COMC yet. Probably give it another week, 2 weeks or so. Because they do offer that incentive of a cheaper import price of the newer sets. So I can see a lot of more people sending in quicker kind of thing. So this is the kind of view you want to get at. And just for maybe once you get accustomed to the process kind of that I'm talking about, you can maybe even include all these, but I would even drill down and just bring up the base cards. So we got 100 on a page. We got a full page of all the 100 cards in the set. So the reason that I do this is because I find when I look at, maybe it's just me and maybe other people have other methods, but I find when I look at a group of cards, players that are not like the surrounding players stick out. And I don't necessarily see anything particular in this shot that we look at right now. But just to give you an easy example, if this card here, instead of being Frank Darby, it was a Trevor Lawrence card. Now, if you look at all the surrounding players, probably most of them are either late round skill position players or defensive players. Most of the names are not household names like Trevor Lawrence would be, or Devonta Smith, or Jalen Waddle, or Jamar Chase, Mac Jones, right? So those are guys that most NFL base NFL people know. The more hardcore people will know the 6th-round draft picks and the 5th-round draft picks, but in general, you don't really need to know that. What you need to know is if you see a name that's within a bunch of names that you don't recognize, that's where you kind of have a look. So, for example, as I said, if this card was Trevor Lawrence, this is going to stick out more than anything to me because he's a player of a higher level. Even, Trevor Lawrence didn't necessarily have a good year, but he's still not within, 5th-round tight end kind of status or corner defensive players, right? So he's going to stick out. So I'll just basically scroll through and I'll find guys that stick out. The important thing for this is you need to understand a tier system of how players are basically tiered, okay? You can have your own system. It doesn't need to be anybody else's, but you just need to be able to say, this player is better than this player is equal. And that's all you kind of need to know, right? Because as you're scrolling down, once you see a player that their skill level is by better than the people around him, that's potential for a deal. And that, to me, that sticks out the most. And it's even easier for previous years because the later round rookies were not rated. This year they're all rated. But in previous years it was easier to spot a rated rookie, in with the non-rated rookies. Just draws your attention. And that's what I think causes me to be able to, because I'm able to just scan through this really quickly. Takes me a minute or two, and so there's a guy that I've kind of been targeting, and he's not within the position group that I feel that he should be. So then I would go into and look at what kind of situation we got here. So I've already purchased a bunch of these, but I have 14 of them already. But at 20 cents a piece, I can actually place them pretty good on this. So this works out as a perfect example. So now this is where a speculation guy, like a target guy that I've been looking at, crosses with a flip opportunity. Okay. Maybe I wouldn't necessarily look at this opportunity if I didn't do a little bit more research on Nico Collins. So those flip opportunities would probably come at a higher value of player kind of thing. But because I know this guy and I know looks like Davis Mills is going to be the guy for next year, that Houston, if they're not going to work out with Deshaun Watson, Flores doesn't come in, whatever the case. If Deshaun Watson, for whatever reason, is able to come back, then he's got himself a nice target kind of thing. So, is it a risk? Absolutely, but I think at this price, I think look, this was saved at $2 kind of thing. So, this person is knocking quite a significant amount of price off what their asking price was. Now, was that asking price too high? Probably. Was it jacked up to be able to just put it up high to bring it back down low? And probably, and that happens a lot. I do a 65% sale and price the card 65% more. There's no difference. You're selling it. It just draws attention to it. So anyway, so what we're gonna do is we'll take this opportunity and see what we can do with it. So we're gonna do the 20 cents times 2.1, which is my profit number there that I'm looking at. So we're looking at listing those at 42 cents. So this is a great opportunity right now. So listing at 42 cents puts us under this 45 cents. So what we can do is go ahead and list these at 44 cents and we'll still be the bottom 4 cards. Now it's just a matter of somebody coming along and having interest to buy this guy and that's where you want to, if it's not a player that you're targeting, you want to be a starter, or a guy that is on a good team, all the different factors that might go into your target. Maybe you don't like him because he's a little bit older, or whatever the case may be. You're not particularly targeting him, but he's a player that other people might target, because I know all the guys that I'm targeting are not the same guys as everybody else is targeting. So somebody could be targeting this guy even though I'm not. That's why I'm looking at the flip opportunity rather than a investment of, meaning I think this guy's going to be a better player than he is now, which is going to increase his card values. All right. So that's kind of like the situation. So this guy kind of falls into both categories. But what we're going to do is, and I did a couple rookie mistakes like this recently, and I don't know if they were complete because I caught them after the fact. But basically in this situation, what I should do is I should list all these cards at 44 cents. Now, if this one was 10 cents and the rest were 20, I'm still going to list them all at 44. But a couple of times I multiplied the 10 cents by 2.1. So I had like one selling for 20 and then a bunch selling for 44, in which they should have been all 44. Don't ever make it the lowest card. Make it your, like, I don't know how to explain that. Don't make all your lowest cards the same price, no matter what you purchased for it, as long as it's over that 2.1. So if this was 10 cents and I can buy these, double up and fit these all under this 45 cents, don't make the 10 cent the 2.1, make it the value that's going to, so we're all going to have, basically I don't want to have one sitting for 20 cents and then a bunch sitting for 44 cents. I'll just list them all at 44 cents. So we'll go in and we'll buy these and we'll just relist them right away for 44 cents. So now some may say, well, somebody could come along and list it for 43 cents. Well, I have a little bit of wiggle room, and still, I said 43 cents but meant 44. But I still have some wiggle room with these. Not a ton of wiggle room, but I still have some wiggle room to drop these a little bit lower if I wanted to. And you know what? Like, I also think in my head, if somebody really, really wants to sell a card and they're willing to take a loss on it, you're just not going to be able to compete with that. You know what I mean? Like, if some guy is willing to take a huge loss on a card, you're not going to be able to undercut him. So if somebody who has this at 50 cents wants to drop it down to 10 cents, I'm not going to be able, I'll just let him be. You know what? You won that round, buddy. You jumped in front of me on the line. So be it. I mean, it's going to happen. But now, because I had a little bit of wiggle room, maybe it's only a couple of cents, but I have a little bit of wiggle room. I can list it at the top price, and if anybody comes below me, I can move these prices down a little bit. Or the other perfect option is somebody drops, say, down to 30 cents, 40 cents, whatever. I can buy those cards up, because right now I know I can look at here. Now, this is probably not, sorry, here, I got an itchy ear there. This is probably not the best situation to try to explain that. But if somebody were to come, maybe one of these 50 cents guys was, say, do a 50% sale and come and drop it off at 25%. Well, I have the opportunity to either adjust my prices, which, since you saw that I bought the card for 20 cents, if I drop it down to 25 cents or 24 cents to get below the guy, I'm just going to lose money, because they're going to take their 5% fee, and there goes my profit. So there's situations where you maybe want to drop in front of them. There's situations maybe where you want to buy the card. If there's enough gap between the first and the last card, you can buy that card. Every card, set it at basically everybody that drops below you, just buy the card up and relist it. Somebody drops below you, buy the card. And if not, if somebody doesn't drop below you and comes to buy the card, then your card's next. You know, every situation is not going to be identical. You know, different players are going to have different peaks. You know, with this, I don't need to worry about the amount. I just need to worry about somebody wanting to come buy this card. So I think that there's going to be enough going on with the off season. With Houston's going to be enough in the news. So I think that would be enough to kind of you know, put this guy in some people's thoughts there, which may you know, some guys may want to come, you know, grab a bunch of these and go rip them off on eBay, kind of thing. So now that I'm going to go back and we'll go look for some more. But while I'm in this screen, I wanted to point this out. While I'm looking at an individual player's card, and here is one of the biggest things that I love about COMC is how they show the parallels. So this lists all the parallels of this particular card. And I can't count how many deals I've scored using this, because this gives me a whole picture of all the cards. So, for example, if I see that the base card is selling for 44 cents, oh, let me scroll down. All right, there we go. Just so you can see it, I forgot. On my screen, my face is not blocking it out. So, we see the base card is 44 cents. Now, if I scroll down here and I see, oh, the portrait card is 36 cents. So these, from my understanding, are supposed to be shorter printed cards. I'm not sure how much shorter printed, but this is supposed to replace, from my understanding, replace the canvas from 2020, the canvas parallel from 2020. That's my understanding. So, well, now this is a something selling cheaper than the base. Now, the reason it's selling cheaper for the base is because I just purchased all the cheap base up and relisted them. So it's not necessarily a particular awesome deal, but that's something that that sticks out and you might look at, right? So we go along here, and you know, like stuff like this press proof blue for $1.80. Now, if you want to know, okay, well, what other press proof blues are selling for, then you can click up on this. Again, it was under my picture, but if you give me 2 seconds, I will back up and show you. So I'm in the press proof blue one. I think, oh, is that a good deal? I can come up here and click on the set, right? And that'll bring me to all the press proof blues, and then I can go ahead and I can tick off, okay, rookie cards, you know, ungraded. I don't think there's any graded anyway. So now I can do the same thing with the press proof. So his press proof was $1.80. So let's get down to that $1.80 range, right? So look at the people around him, right? I would say that's probably pretty close to what he should be at, give or take 10 cents. So that maybe not is definitely not an opportunity for me right now, kind of thing. So then I can just go back out, and if I wanted to look at another one like the preview, okay, so I click on, again, my face is hitting it, but you know it's up in the top corner. See where my cursor is, up here. And now I got all the pink previews, so I can look at the rookie cards. Okay, so his print, well, I forgot what his print preview was because I was talking too much. So his pink, where is it? Preview is $1.50. So we go look, and we look at what else is in the $1.50 range. So again, so we're probably again in the right ballpark. More is at 165. There's a couple guys that are probably a little bit overpriced here, so that might make it look like his is a little bit lower than it is. But that is kind of a way to be. Again, it's the same process that I did before, except I'm just doing it on a new set. It's still the same thing. So we'll go back to the main set, and we'll look and see if there's anything else that sticks out here. But it's important for everybody to know that tier, because if you don't know that this guy is better than this guy, then you're not going to know that, okay, these cards are mispriced and this guy's a little bit of more of a deal. So as we move closer down the list, you can see the names starting to pick up that are more recognizable. The Kyle Pitts, the Fairmouth, the quarterbacking book, Khalil, some of the more higher drafted guys. So now you have to judge, okay, where they kind of fall in their tier, so that's one set. Then I'll, as I said, I do multiple sets. So we'll go back and we'll go look at the 2020. Now 2020 obviously has more available because they've all been released, but we've got all the same criteria. We'll look at the base. So now we can go through and do the same thing. And if we can see any players that kind of, stick out. So there's a guy that I'm kind of targeting there a little bit, but I wouldn't say that he's extremely out of price range. So it doesn't look like there's too much stuff that stands out to me. Maybe those Michael Pittman there. See, like I feel Michael Pittman should be closer to like a T. Higgins price, and even I think that's a little bit overpriced as well compared to the others. Doesn't necessarily mean it's not worth that. And that's probably more likely because San Francisco upset last week, and so their expectations weren't to, they were probably one of the worst teams that they thought would be in the playoffs. So but you can look at the difference of the quantity too. Let's just have a look at, you can see. So he's had 9 sales since January. So his is just not a lot of people sent them in. I guess not as many people sent them in, which makes them the less the supply there is, the more price there are. That's just the way it works. Okay, so we'll go have a look at another 2020 set, and we'll see what we can find. Let's see here. So we got optic. So let's go have a look at optic. All right, so there's 147 optics. All right, so I'm going to try and whittle this down. So this is where I will use this filter. And I probably just changed my screen because I got a hotkey. So I apologize for that. Oops. As I said, this is what I do in RAW. All right, so what I did was I just put the rated rookies in here, so that filters out all the non-rated rookies. So it gives me a better, again, overall picture. So if I'm looking at this here, somebody that really stands out that's probably not in that tier group of everybody else is going to be the Visca at 14 cent. Although Jaguars are not a very good team, obviously, by their back-to-back first-round picks. As they've moved on from Urban Meyer, so maybe a new coach will be able to take some of those first picks and Trevor Lawrence, and they do have a bunch of weapons. They just need to um, make some overall improvements to their team, to their philosophy. They need to bring a coach with a winning pedigree in and a winning attitude in, kind of thing. But I don't have a problem investing in this guy. So we're looking here. So this is going to be an opportunity that we're going to want to take advantage of, and we're even going to maybe want to look at a few more, not just the first one. So if we do a quick numbers here, the 26-cent one. So we're looking at 55. So that's going to sit right at the bottom. So that's perfect. So we're exactly the same thing that I just showed you with the other cards we're going to do in this situation. So we're going to go in and we're going to buy these up, and we're going to, what were they at? I don't know, what was it? 57. So we're going to list, oops. We're going to go back and we're going to buy these, and we're going to list them for 57 cents. Now, the thing is with guys like the Visca is Jaguars are not going to be playing any more games this year. So there's not necessarily going to be a chance to see the spike that you would if Laviska was to go out and have a monster game. But because we're creating a great opportunity for ourselves, we just need somebody just to be interested in Laviska Shenault as a player, not necessarily driven there by something he's done, and we can sell the cards. So, all of a sudden, Jacksonville hires a brand new coach that, everybody raves is going to come in and make Trevor Lawrence the quarterback that he should be, right? So that's maybe going to drive some interest. Now, I don't need to drive the interest up so much that somebody's willing to overpay for this card. I just need them to come to the site and buy it. And that's what I think, these flipping opportunities, you don't necessarily have to believe in the guy yourself. You just have to believe that there's a possibility that somebody will, at some point, for whatever reason, want to come buy that card, right? First pick in the draft, the Jaguars are going to be their next attention. Maybe depending on when they hire the coach, I guess that could be as well too. So, a coach that comes in that's known for developing quarterback, may get people thinking, oh, okay, maybe I'll look at some more Laviska cards, and boom, who's first in line for these particular cards, right? So now we by using this, sorry, it just caught me off guard, so I just hopped right to it. But by now using this technique of now looking at the inserts and parallels, I noticed that his hollow prism is $1.36. So we come into that situation where there's a big gap at some point. It's just a matter, because I'm on a budget, can I drop $7 or $8 out of my bankroll to be able to cover all these cards? Right? I might, in some situations, see this guy's running a sale. So let's first see what we're looking at here. So to stay under that $4 mark, let's see what we need it to be. So anything under $1.90, we can float under that $4 mark. So you know what? I think I'll do that. I'm not going to add that extra. So what I'll do is I won't be in the first position, but I will be in position to make a good profit by only jumping back 2 spots. So we're actually going to come in and relist these at $3.99. So I'm going to buy I bought the 136 one. I'm going to buy the 141. And I'm going to buy the 151. So that now puts me in 3, 4, and 5 position with some room to wiggle down if one of these guys decides to drop, kind of thing. So I just bought 3. So there's been 2 sales in January, and then last quarter there was 9 sales. So, but last, as we've seen this year, it's a lot. It's really hype. It's not hype driven as it was in previous years. Jaguars didn't necessarily have a great year. Not that Chenault was hurt there. So the overall demand of his card is going to be down unless something crazy cheap offers. So if this card comes up for 25 cents, people are going to buy it, right? So his card, basically what I'm trying to get at is if Jaguars were in the playoffs right now, I might have put the extra $2 in and pushed these back a little bit more. Just spent the extra $4, and put them back because I know there's a better chance, there's a better opportunity while he's still playing games to increase the demand on him by having a good game or But this is also a perfect opportunity for me for if he doesn't get a lot of hype or a lot of because that's really all we have in off season is the raising of the expectations. Is something that happens to this player going to raise his performance? That's why when you get guys that are in a new quarterback coming to a team, a wide receiver's card's going to go up, are going to have more demand with a chance to increase the price because now it's his expectations went from quarterback A to now maybe a Hall of Fame potential quarterback coming to play. That raises his expectations up big time. So, the biggest thing for me, it's hype. Hype is pretty much expectations, right? In 2020, people were buying cards of players and paying a premium price for a player that hadn't performed yet, just based on his expectation to perform. Now, you did see a lot of still my best months are the beginning of the season, when the run up to the season, the hype for the season, the anticipation of the season is the highest. But over the course of the season, my sales have been pretty steady based on performance. When a guy comes out that we don't expect to play well and he plays really well, people go and buy his card. That's just as simple as that. The further the gap between the expectations of the player and the performance makes the price higher. And then you add a factor in for quarterbacks, right? Because quarterbacks that are backup players that have no expectations, that are, and come in and have, an exciting game, a great game. Their prices are gonna spike because there's gonna be people out there that want to get on as soon as possible. They don't want to miss out. They don't want to miss out on the next big thing. It's gonna happen. We all do it, even the smartest people. We have a FOMO, you know, lapse every once in a while. It happens to me. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens to me. So, right. So that's where you get into these situations where this guy may not be a necessarily a quicker flip. So I back off on the ones that are a little bit higher out of my price range, kind of thing. And I know it's weird for you to look at it. I bought a $1.50 card, but a $2 card is out of my price range. Well, the reason that I look at it, it's not just that it's 50 cents more than the one I just bought. It's another $2 on top of it, right? So it's the whole the whole. It's not the fact that if it was another $1.50 card, I might have not thought about it getting it as well, even though I just bought another $1.50 card, because it's not just the price difference between the last cards I bought. It's another $1.50 to come off my bankroll, and my bankroll is has to be managed very, very strictly because I don't have a ton of money to put in, and that's fine with me. What I have, I can use and I can have fun with and I can make sales. I just don't have, I can't, I think I did a deposit right at the end of December with some Christmas money that I got. And I'm not sure if I did another one since then. I don't think I have. I've been trying to live off sales as much as I can. And so I haven't had to put a deposit in, but I'm still buying a ton of cards because I'm still selling along the way. Right? So when I have money, I'm trying to save a little bit here and there to maybe get into a couple of bigger cards and then turn those into a couple of bigger, kind of grind my way up there. Because I'll admit that like I've got some of my 2,000 cards that I've got for sale. I'm gonna have trouble selling them for profit, just because they were either noob mistakes or just a bad the guy's market completely dropped out, or I think he's a better player than everybody else thinks, so I overvalue his card. Whatever the case may be, we all make mistakes. Where I'm not perfect, and I'm never going to claim to be perfect. But my mantra kind of going forward is, the more informed decisions I make, the better chance I have to make more right decisions. Right? If you base the decisions on stats, analytics, numbers rather than gut feeling, I feel that you're going to make more decisions, because dealing with emotions is risky business, and when you're doing like investments and things like that. So, it's hard to do. It's hard to not do. Like I'm not on the Bengals bandwagon right now, being a Ravens fan, and I absolutely cannot wait to get them next year when we're at full strength, and we'll make a game of it. But I can't be biased like that and not invest in Bengals cards because I know they're going to be hot in the playoffs. Joe Burrow's their quarterback is lighting it up right now. He's had a few good games in a row. They've won their first playoff game since like the Ice Age. So, they're going to be a hot team. What a lot of people are going to, and if they continue to win, they're only going to get hotter. So even though I'm not a big fan of the Bengals being a Ravens, I got to put that aside and go see what I can find for the Bengals, kind of thing. See what I can invest in. I know I'm not going to get Burrow, and at the point right now, kind of Chase is out of my range with only having the the $10 rated rookie. I'm not going to buy that right now. I think that will settle down a little bit, maybe into the $4 or $5. Jonathan Taylor, who's the rushing title leader this year. I know he's a running back, and they're not quite as valued as the wide receivers in the hobby, but his is a $4 based on rest from the previous year. CD Lamb is hovering around that $1.80 to $2, and we know CD Lamb's a good receiver. Justin Jefferson's in that $4 450 range. So I expect that card when it levels off to be in that 450 range, roughly. It may change, it may go up, it may go down, but I think he's right now in that tier. Now, this is the thing that we have to do is we now have to figure out what other cards are going to be in that kind of area where they're going to get a bump from their playoff performance, right? So that's another thing I'm kind of criteria. Who's potentially going to have a big game this week would be something that I would look for in these flips. Like a guy like Keyshawn Vaughn has been a guy that I've been buying up like crazy and selling like crazy. He's starting to getting more opportunities with Leonard Fournette being injured there. He did have a few of his carries gobbled up by Giovanni Bernard, but he scored a touchdown. He got some touches. I had purchased his cards because I think he's going to be in play more next year. But because of injuries, because of the way things happen, he moved up the depth chart now. And I was able to rip off probably 10 or 15 sales just after after we got his first couple of touches of the game. So, but that's a spec guy because he's already cheap. I got him for cheap and I'm selling for cheap. That makes it more enticing for another guy who didn't do the same analytical dive that I did to be able to find him. Now can still get him cheap and then resell him. The good thing about me, after I get rid of him, it almost doesn't matter if he's better or not. I got him to the point where he's making me money by flipping his card, and that's all I need him to get to. I don't need Keyshawn Vaughn to end up in the Hall of Fame. I need him to play well enough in the right situations to be able to sell all the cards I have, and that's it. That's all I'm looking at. I'm not looking at this guy saying I'm buying all his cards because he's going to be sitting beside Walter Payton in the Hall of Fame. No, I'm buying this guy's cards because they're super cheap, and I think he's going to be in a more prominent role next year, which is going to increase the value of his cards because he's going to have more exposure. We've time and time again, we've proven that fantasy performance ties into rookie card prices. The better you play, the more expensive your card becomes. That's just, it's not simple as black and white as that, but that when you look at the basics of it, the better you play, the more your rookie card will sell for. Again, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but that's the basics of it. All right. So for this particular card, it doesn't look like it's a necessarily good situation for this card, and there's not as many of them as the based on rust, so that's usually good. But we can come in and look at some of these inserts, which are not too badly priced. The thing is, though, I like to do the color match as much as I can, just because of it just makes it look a lot nicer. As you can see, I don't know how many of these I got. I've got two, one for sale and one not. Again, as I said, I was anticipating this guy was going to be a better for next year. Fournette's on contract, Ronald Jones on contract, Bernard I believe is on contract. So and they don't have a ton of salary cap space without doing a bunch of restructures, and they got to fill a lot of roster spots. So they drafted this guy for a reason. So that's what I'm thinking. They're not going to go in and spend resources. And if they do, that means he's pretty much a dud. It's going to be a dud. Yeah, so, I don't see, again, as I didn't see any opportunities to base, and nothing really anymore with the hollow. Now, of course, with some of these cards, you don't have to stay on the first page if you're just willing to wait a little bit longer. That's all. You can adjust your profit. You know, if you you know, want to as you get higher in cards, maybe that's probably the point that I'll start to adjust it. But at this lower end, I like to keep. But if you're comfortable making, you know, 50 or 60% profit, then you can adjust your multiplier, and you'll get way more opportunities than I would, because I keep my multiplier at the 2.1. Okay, so let's go back and see what we have. I don't want to get stuck with too many going in, like, you know, looking at 1 year kind of thing. So we'll look and see if anything really stands out here. No, I don't think anything really pops out of me as a glaring opportunity. It's a little bit harder too with the rookie, the variations there. So we got $3 for CD Lamb. So I mean, that might not be a horrible price for Higgins, but I don't think it's going to be an opportunity. I don't have any for right now. Okay, so let's move on. We'll go look at Prism. Oh, forgot to take that filter out there. All right. So now we'll go have a look at, and we'll go to the same thing. We're gonna filter down, get all the as much of the junk out of the way, so we can just have a look at. Okay, we can just have a look at them as a group. So definitely the ones that stick out with, like, sets like this Prism, right? Like if you see a bunch of combine guys and then a guy, right, like this might be something that stands out, but I know the player already. So, you know, if you see a bunch of college uniforms or a bunch of combine pictures, and then you see a guy in a pro jersey, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an opportunity, but that's something that's going to catch your eye. That, you know, right? If I'm able to do all this work that I'm doing in a whatever, how long this is, like 45 minutes at this point. If I can do all this in like 5-10 minutes and do like a bunch of sets, that's how I'm able to snag a lot of these deals, because I'm able to do it so much because I've got it down pat and I know what I'm looking for. I can do it so much that I can scan so much a day that I'm able to pick up on a ton of these deals. Okay, so let's get back to we'll scroll through again and we'll see if any names kind of stick out here. I'm seeing a pretty standard set here. See, I bought a bunch of these. I think I have a bunch of them. I'm not sure. I only got 2. Never mind. But these were in the 10-20 cent, you know, range last week. Now they're up to 70 because they've sold 34 of them in 21 days. All right, so let's go back and let's see if we can find any more. I don't think there's going to be anything that's I don't know, like even like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Let's take a look at that. I don't think there's gonna be probably some of these sets with the high numbers are gonna be harder to get opportunities. With again, unless you're looking at cutting down some of your profit margin. But like if I was to do one of these, we're gonna land in the, you know, 165 range, I guess, or whatever it is, 170 something, 68. So we're looking at 68. So it's 12, 16. So we're looking at like 17 or 18 spot, which is maybe not too bad for a guy. He's going to be back playing this week, and it's a playoff. But he's only sold 10 this quarter so far. Sold 48 last quarter, so that's not too bad. So this might be a candidate for a guy to maybe push it back a little bit further in the list. As you can see, I got one listed at 143 here, so that's me here. You know, it's not with liquid sets like Prism. You can maybe get away with this, especially if you know if you're confident, especially if maybe this is like a target player, you can maybe push it back. But I just like the first page so much because it not only gives you the profit that you want, but it gives you a realistic time. You know, you don't have to wait 2 years to sell this card. You know, I think one of the things that was asked about in the request for this video was using the sales chart, and that, you know, that's what we have to use. So definitely pay attention to and have a look. Now, the sales chart to me now is not as be all end all because of the development that I've done in the player analysis. So for a guy that I know is going to get some attention, I don't necessarily need to critically analyze the sales, but I will take a look at them, and I kind of will look at, so I'll look at the last couple of months, because especially with the 2020 cards, because they've only had like a year on the market, less than a year on the market. Or they're starting in their, they're starting their second year on the market. So that first couple of months is going to be the new shiny Prism time. So, and Allaire was injured for quite a bit this year, so I don't expect his sales to be skyrocketing. So take that into consideration. Like, I would need to kind of know that if I was just, trying to straight judge on his sales kind of thing, to know that, like, in this, he had 48 sales while he was injured, so I can maybe see him if he comes back and has a nice game. So this actually works into a perfect segue into another way that I kind of look at it, would look for cards. So now I'm thinking, okay, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, maybe a guy that could, he's been coming on. He was injured most of the year, so he hasn't got a bunch of expectations built behind him because he was hurt for the year. Now, is this maybe a guy in prime time that could come in and have a big game and drive his prices up? There's a possibility. You know what I mean? Casey's, been known to score some points, and he's a very, very popular running back from that particular year. So in this case, if I was, thinking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe he's a good, let's see what other cards he has. So I'll click right on his name, and then that'll bring up now my overall list of all his cards. So for here, I'll go the rookie related more for this one, because it's all the same player. So I'm not. So right now I'm just trying to find different sets. Right. So we got his mosaic here at 39 cents. The base Donruss is 50. His premier level is Prism Black is at 60 cents. His regular Prism is at 80. His optic is at 80. His club level is at 75. And what's his field level at? Did I miss it? Or does he have a second page? Oh, he does. Okay, so in this case, instead of trying to fool around with looking for it, I'll just type in field. So his field level is $1.56. So that's his most expensive base card, is that field level, and everything else is approximately half of the field level. So that's actually not a horrible price for the field level. Maybe I can do. Maybe that'll be better if I'll take. I forgot to do up the auctions, and he has. We'll eliminate. See, this just eliminates more cards that you have to compare in the list that are not relevant to what you're looking at. All right, so we got the Concourse 39, the Mosaic 39, the Prism Black 60, the Premier 60, the Club 75. So everything's kind of grouped in a bunch, and then the field level is 156, almost double, I guess, of that. And they're mine too. So obviously we're not gonna rebuy my cards and more opportunities here in the field level. So let's look at some other stuff. So let's look at. So we already looked at the prism, so let's look at the optic. See if there's any opportunities. So we go down in the page. So definitely we can fit this one on the first page. So if we're looking at it, we do the multiplier. So we're looking at 168 again. So that'll fit right last on the page. Not sure I'm happy with that or not. Yeah, let's see what else. Let's see what the Prism Black has to say. So we're at 60. So yeah, we're probably not gonna, depending on, might be able to squeak on the end. Yeah, probably able to squeak in on the end of the page. There's no really a bunch of inserts for that one. Let's look at the club level. So this one's now. See, this is where lowering your percentage will come in handy, because you'll find more opportunities. And also this will be opportunities you probably get more if maybe you put in a few offers to bring down the price. I don't make a lot of offers on COMC, and the only reason why is because they take a lot of times. Maybe it's just the people I've made offers. Maybe I had some bad situations, or you know, COMC users who were only on once a week or something like that. But you know, I had a couple of my offers expire, and I just ended up buying the card anyway. You know, so if it's a good price, I'm not saying I'm opposed to offers. I just find the time delay um, counterproductive sometimes. I'm not gonna send a guy that's selling a card for 18 cents an offer for 15 cents. I'll just buy the card at 18 cents. Now, if you're buying a $50 card, it's a lot more feasible and reasonable to send them an offer on a $50 card rather than a 10-cent card. So, you know, I just find it speeds up the process a little bit too because some of the offers are really, really slow in responding, and that's fine. Not everybody gets to spend as much time on COMC as I do in a day, and that's okay. But that just doesn't mean that it's going to be an opportunity for me, and that's all. So there's definitely not an opportunity there. Let's see if there's. So we're looking at. I'm going to go back and look at the selects and see if there's any cheaper die cuts that I can. So that's not a bad one. 170. Oh, there's a good opportunity. So we're going to buy that and we're going to reprice that at $5.99. $5.99. So there we go. So now we got a premier level red prism color match die cut that we bought for $1.75 that I relisted for $5.99. And he's going to be playing this week, so there's a good, I find these color cards like this do very, very well. Laser prisms, red, white, and blues. They're not necessarily big money, but especially with the lower end players, that they're still, you can get them for like 90 cents or $1 or something like that. Those are really, really good opportunities. Like just for example, if you look, non-color match stuff is in the $3-4 range. So that sticks out to me right away at $1.70 for a color matched card, And again, usually I don't even need to do the 2.1 because I can see there's a huge enough gap between it. And I think with the guy playing this week, he didn't play last week and he's probably been sparse the last couple of weeks playing wise. But I think playing this week against the Bills, it's going to be they're going to need him. It's going to be a big scoring game. The Bills defense is good. So there's a good opportunity that this card will get flipped this weekend if he has a good game and, Kansas City progresses in the playoffs there. So I think that's about all I can. I mean, I don't want to crazy cover too much for everybody, but we bought a couple of cards today while it was on. I showed you the different opportunities that I look at, how I kind of search the cards. Maybe at some point I can do a live stream with the Q&A or something like that if we still if everybody still has questions, or I'm open to anything. If you have any more comments, you have any more questions, make sure you throw them in the comment section there. I'll be happy to answer them. But I think that kind of covers pretty much kind of like my day-to-day stuff that I hop on and I look at. I'm going to be honest, most of the times I'm re-looking at cards that I've already bought to see where they're sitting at prices, if there's opportunities for me and things like that. So I do a lot of that, but if I'm looking straight up for, just to try and find some deals, looking at it by set, that the way that I do it, I find makes just the deals pop out. So thanks everybody. I appreciate everybody's support. I probably should start doing this a little bit earlier in my videos, but I figure if you find my content valuable enough, you're going to subscribe whether I tell you at the beginning or the end. So if you made it through all the way to the end and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'm not a daily content guy, and I got a ton of things on the go with different projects and with the Quest Shark and the Discord and the Comp Kings show every week and stuff. But I'm going to try and do as much content as I possibly can And it actually helps me out if you guys request stuff that you like to see. It gives me ideas on what everybody wants to see. So if you have any questions, you want me to do any kind of COMC videos or a Star Stock video, what I'm buying on Star Stock right now, drop something in the comments. Let me know. Um, yeah, and as I said, guys, I appreciate everybody hanging around. I'm gonna try not to do so many gaps in between my videos there. Um, but as I said, I'm a super busy guy, so I'll do what I can. And actually, it would help me out if you guys would have specific videos that you're looking for, because then I don't have to figure out what I'm going to do next, kind of thing. And that's sometimes what stumps me too. Taking the time to research a new video, because I don't just hop on and just do it. I always put some time and some effort into it. I research it. You know, I don't. It's not just a willy-nilly thing. So anyway, thank you everybody again for your continued support. And until next time, everyone stay safe.